What's up, everybody, and welcome everybody to the Press Box, your number one total sports platform. I'm your host, C. Will. Today we have a great show for you. But before we dive in, I want to encourage each and one of you to go ahead and give me a like if you like the Cowboys and the Cowboys content. And if you do, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you will be able to get Cowboy information as soon as we release it. So, this video is entitled The Dallas Cowboys, the epitome of mediocrity. The epitome of mediocrity. And I use the word epitome because no team probably has a bigger fan base than the Dallas Cowboys. No team. You have a lot of teams that have good fan bases. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have the San Francisco 49ers, but there's no fan base that spreads out as far, as the Dallas Cowboys. So they affect a lot of people. They affect a lot of people's emotions. And they've been doing this for, 30 years now, since the last time that they won a championship, since 96, I believe. So that's about 28 years, or almost. Same thing, the same damn thing. And fans every year, they get their hopes up. They think that the next year is going to be better than the last. And the same thing happens. They do the same thing every year. They hype them up. They on every week, no matter the network, they're going to show the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to show them. So even if you don't like the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to see them, which is why they have a lot of haters as well, because, they're glorified so much, too much. Sometimes, and I'm a fan, sometimes I just like it better with don't nobody say anything. I mean, they went 2-0 this year to start the season. They dominated New York, which they always do. That's a divisional game. And for their home opener against the struggling New York Jets and Zach Wilson, they dominated them. But then they go on the road to play against a team that's not in their division, same conference, but a team that's not going anywhere, and they lay an egg. It's almost like they didn't want to play. And when you look at the stats of their last game against Arizona, the areas where they struggled, to be honest, they're the same areas that they've struggled through their whole existence. They had 14 penalties, and they had good yardage running the ball, so they ran the ball well. And up until the last turnover, up until the turnover that Dak made, the passing game got about 250 yards, somewhere around in there, but no turnovers. Granted, it's not an explosive passing game because McCarthy is trying to kind of take away the degree of difficulty of the passes to try to limit the turnovers from Dak. And then Arizona ran for over 200 yards rushing. Just pounded the Dallas Cowboys, just pounded them. And going into the season, I knew that that's the weakness of the defense. The defense is a dominant defense as long as they're winning the down and distance. As long as they can keep teams in long situations, then the pass rush is a threat. But if the team knows how to keep the down and distance minimal, then, I mean, what good is it to have a pass rush if I'm going to choose to run more than I pass because I'm having success running? And they drafted the kid from Michigan, Nazi Smith, or Maisie Smith, Mozzie Smith, and so far he hasn't really broken out. And they got Big Hankins down there. I mean, they got some people to play the interior of the defense, but we see this. And this was the same thing that we saw last year in the playoffs against the 49ers. They just lined up and just hit them in the mouth and just pounded them. When you pound us, when you pound the Cowboys, there's no pass rush. Michael Parsons, as great as he is and as fast and explosive as he is, he probably don't weigh no more than 225 pounds. It's not a big guy. And teams are going to attack his weakness. So he probably want to gain a little weight, the more he play as he get older, to be able to absorb the running plays, because guys are going to run right at him. And that's exactly what Arizona did. So, yes, it's one loss. Yes, there's a lot of season left. But I'm concerned a little bit. Well, I'm concerned a lot, actually, because the same reasons why they couldn't prosper last year is the same problem that we saw in the last game. So that tells me that it's still a weakness. So this week we play against Ezekiel Elliott and the New England Patriots. Zeke had one of the best games he's had in maybe 4 or 5 years. Had about 85 yards last game. So you don't think he's going to be motivated after having a good game already to play against his old team who cut him? So that's going to be a tough game. Going up against one of the best game planners, coaches, and Bill Belichick. He's looking at the tape of Arizona, and I know he's saying to himself, if Arizona can do this, who really is not even built to run like that, I know he's thinking that we can do this. And it's a copycat league. Teams are going to start doing the same, especially if they can. They're going to start doing the same thing again. So that's going to put pressure on Dak Prescott in the offense, because if the defense is not dominant, if the defense is not going to give you a turnover, that's going to make the offense have to do a little bit more. So, but we was trying to make it be to where Dak didn't have to do as much. Well, that plan went left. It's always going to default back to the person who's getting paid the most is going to still have to perform. And you can try to hide Dak Prescott all you want to, and try to make it be to where he doesn't have to put it on him, because we know what's going to happen if he has to be the decider of wins and losses. So I get what they were trying to do, but I don't believe the defense is going to be as dominant as they were the first 2 games, especially with Trayvon Diggs being out for the season. Not only his production is going to be missed, but his leadership. He is the leader. It's not Michael Parsons. It's Trayvon Diggs. He's the emotional leader, and he's a ball hawk. He's a shutdown guy. So it's part of the reason why I feel like the defense didn't show up emotionally, because I think emotionally they were still thinking about a little bit about the loss of their leader on defense. But they got to snap out of it. They got to understand that their weakness is stopping and run, so they have to compete every single week. They can't have a week saying, hey, we don't have to show up, No, they have to, in order to even make it cancel itself out and not be a weakness, they have to, they have to compete. They have to try hard. You're not that good to where you don't have to try. Because if the moment you lay off, a team like Arizona can run for over 240 yards against you. So I have concerns moving forward. We got San Francisco coming up in a week or two. So actually, it's the week after. So we could be staring at a 3-game losing streak. It wouldn't shock me. You got Zach Martin, who missed the last game, your best lineman. You got Tyron Smith, who missed the last game. So, and your starting center, Tyler B.O.G. I can't say his name, but he's gonna be, or I don't know, they may come back, but all three of those guys were out. So if you got lineman problems, you're gonna struggle, especially with the offense. Probably gonna have to pass the ball more because the defense is not gonna be as dominant. So I just take it all in stride. I just take it all in stride. I didn't get overly excited. I didn't start talking trash. I didn't start thinking that we were the best team in football because I know they do this every year. Dallas is, from a talent standpoint, is one of the better teams in football. They have been over the last decade. They're not losing because they don't have enough talent. They lose because of the lack of discipline that the team has, and it starts from the top down. When a team gets 14 penalties, that means that they're not focused and they're not paying attention to the task at hand. But a disciplined team, regardless of the situation, they're going to always do the right thing. That's what discipline means. Discipline means that you do the right thing when nobody is watching. Everybody don't do that. Even as people, everybody don't do the right thing when nobody's watching. They'll say, hey, nobody's watching me, so I don't have to do what's right. So it takes a special group of people to fit into that discipline category. And it's the same way with athletes in sports. Everybody doesn't do what they're supposed to do. People a lot of times try to take shortcuts. We live in a microwave era to where we rather microwave our oatmeal instead of, cooking it and cooking it slow and doing it the organic way. That's just the era that we live in. So I just feel like that we should just be calm, enjoy the season. Um, they're gonna have a good season. They always do. They're gonna make the playoffs, but they're not gonna win the Super Bowl. It's I've accepted it, and I'm a Cowboy fan. It's like that's my team. I don't really know why they still my team, but through the existence of my life, they've been my team, and I still watch them. I know they probably gonna let me down. So what I did learn as a fan is to stay even keel. When they lose, I don't be depressed because when you put so much into them and they let you down, the after effect is you're gonna feel bad. I don't do that because I don't put so much into them when they're doing well because I know that they're gonna fall down to earth at some point, and that's exactly what happened. So uh, I'll end off on this point. I think the Cowboys have problems handling prosperity. What I mean by they have problems handling prosperity is that um, when they have success, they let up. They went 2-0, they dominated, scored 70 points, averaging 35 points a game. And then the minute that everybody expects for you to do something, with them being a 12 and a half point favorite last week at Arizona, so now you have great respect from the media, from Vegas. Everybody is trying to believe in you. And the minute that people believe in them, that's when they struggle. So to me, it takes a great coach. It takes a really, really great coach to be able to inspire his team or her team to play to their max, despite everybody saying that they're supposed to. So it takes a great coach to be able to keep people hungry when everybody is just feeding them. Everybody is just giving them praise and all this. Nick Saban from Alabama, the legendary coach from Alabama. He calls that rat poison. I laughed at that at first, but he's right. It is rat poison. Rat poison being that you eat it, what I'm saying? It's gonna basically kill whatever you got going. It's like sneaky rat poison. And the Cowboys every year could be the favorite. You know, when you look at the way that the talent and the way that they dominate their division, with the exception of Philly, but before Philly got to this point, before Jalen Hurts, Dallas was always in contention. But it'd be the games like Arizona. And then last year they played against Denver. Denver, we just seen give up 70 points this week to Miami. But last year they went to Denver, lost 17-7. They played Jacksonville last year, got beat. So it's always the games that don't seem important. Those are the ones that they just give away. But y'all are not good enough to do that and still win. You know, only the disciplined teams can still do what they're supposed to do, despite what everybody's saying, despite how unmotivated they are playing a team that they know that they should beat, that they know that the team shouldn't be on the field with them. You know, it takes a special coach to be able to keep players focused. That's why you only see a few elite teams. Good teams can win against other good teams, but elite teams not only win against good teams, they win against bad teams. Because sometimes when an elite team or a good team plays against a bad team, the good team don't show up. So that's a mental thing. Again, that's part of focus. That's part of the mental preparation of what it takes to compete. A lot of that these players should have on their own, but that's why the coach is there, is to be kind of like the last line of defense. So until they can figure out how to handle prosperity, they're not going to do anything. And that comes down to coaching. And as long as Jerry Jones is there, we know that he's going to have somebody there that's going to allow him to control, which means that more than likely the coach is not going to be disciplined, because a disciplined coach is going to stand on the right values, and the right values being that the owner shouldn't have a say of what goes on down here on the field, because that's my job as the head coach, is to oversee that. So that's probably the reason why we keep getting coaches that can't enforce discipline. So anyway, we'll conclude this show on that particular thought. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Press Box, the Dallas Cowboys edition. And again, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, the Press Box, so you can catch all the Dallas Cowboy content as we release it. So until the next time, we'll talk to you later.